having late nights?
A little too many.
Uh-huh.
A little too many.
What you been
A little
doing?
bit too much drinking. But we'll talk about moderation. Welcome to the She Talks. He says, she says. Detox the noise so ancient wisdom becomes real life. Hello, Arden Young. Oh my gosh. Have you been watching the World Cup?
I've been watching. Do you know what match I saw yesterday?
Obviously, the Korea.
I did.
That
I was rooting pretty hard for Korea there. What happened to your boys there?
I don't know. I guess they should have drank more tequila than soju.
That is the answer. That's good country
I
right
think
there.
so. I think so. I'm just saying, tequila is medicinal, man. Not approved by the FDA or any
Tequila's
other
medicinal.
I think so.
Can we go into that?
Yeah, actually, I was at the Joe Coy show,
Okay.
and he literally pulled up research about how he stopped having gout when he switched from whiskey to tequila. And so his doctor told him that tequila was medicinal for its anti-inflammatory properties and like the agave itself.
Okay.
And so he was like, it took me on this rabbit hole. And he goes, it's true. And he pulled up in the middle of the show on his phone the research paper on how tequila is medicinal. Now again, as the Chinese medicine doctor, everything is moderation, obviously. But as somebody who actively enjoys partaking in tequila, I would probably agree that that statement is true.
I think my experience with tequila, I can only say that my hangovers, I think, are slightly less bad with tequila. I have heard that it's the cleanest alcohol.
Yes.
I haven't actually fact-checked anything, though.
It's funny because most women like tequila, most guys, they like shudder at the thought of tequila.
I guess I'm weird that
Maybe.
I actually kind of like tequila. I don't like alcohol much.
I don't know if anybody actually likes alcohol.
I know a couple people.
Like that enjoy the actual taste.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
actually my best
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Shout out to my best friend in Kelly. Cynthia is a awesome girl who actually loves whiskey.
My
So,
brother loves whiskey.
oh man, they would be. Oh, it's so funny because her entire like theme, it was whiskey 1 year for her birthday. But yes, she's one of my favorite people in the entire world.
Same for my brother. What's up, Joe?
Hi, Joe.
Don't drink so much. It's not good for you.
You can figure out ways to like offset if you're going to continue to drink, you know. Oh my gosh, I feel like this week has been really wrought with like conflict for me. Like all of my deals, like businesses, like meetings, like personal relationships with people that I've known for forever just caught me off guard this week, and it was just a little interesting.
How do you deal with it? How do you process it?
How do you deal with it? How do you process it? Are two very different questions, I feel like.
Okay. How do you process it?
The conflict or the season of conflict?
I think the stress that arises, the extra mental space that it requires.
I used to compartmentalize. I used to just shut it down and focus on things that had deadlines and I would prioritize. What I've noticed this year is I figure out if it serves a purpose. Like, does it serve a purpose for me to engage for me or for the other person? And sometimes it's not the greatest advice I will give. But sometimes I just like look for a fight too. Like, okay, I don't ever start fights, but sometimes I'm like, fuck being Yoda. I'm not gonna take the high road. I'm gonna match your fucking energy.
Okay.
So you wanna come to me sideways. My parents were very Christian. And so they'd be like, you know, Jesus turned the other cheek. And I was like, yeah, Jesus ran out of cheeks after the second time. So I wait. I have a 3-strike rule. And I'm like, I went, tried the nice thing, asked a little bit more firmly. And the third time I sent a very stark warning. And then after that, it's game on. Not all the time. Sometimes it's the way that I process that stress.
That's fair. How do you feel afterwards? After you drop the hammer on someone, is there any residue that comes after it? Or are you just like, I'm glad I did that?
Yeah.
I feel good.
That's actually the only reason I engage that way.
Uh-huh.
Because there's some people that I'm like, if I swallow this down and I just take the high road, I'm gonna go home and just be miserable and pissed and ruminating on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it for me then.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care to keep the peace and try to pretend like I'm friends with everyone just so I can get invited to parties. I believe in authentic, meaningful connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're meant to be friends, I don't make personal attacks. I don't do personal insults. And if I do get into that territory, it means I'm probably cutting ties with you and I'm never going to speak with you again, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between being super hot-headed in my 20s and being less hot-headed now in my 40s, I don't have that much regret over actions because I think throughout the day, I'm very thoughtful, right? I think, probably overthink all the time, but when I make a decision, I stand by it. Even if it's like a split-second decision, it's because something inside of me was like, no, this is it, just go for it, right? And if it's the wrong decision, which happens, you just own up to it and you acknowledge it, you apologize, but then it's up to the other person to decide whether they want to accept it or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to say, I'm the master of my own destiny, right? If I meet bad friends, it's on me ultimately because I chose to let those people in. And if I continue to get taken advantage of, it's shame on me because I didn't learn my lesson or learn to deal with it better. So instead of blaming other people for like, why are you a shitty person? Introspectively, why do I keep attracting this? And two, why do I keep allowing this, right? I can't control other people. And so when I decide to do something, even if it's a rash decision, I apologize because the other person deserves it, but I don't expect them to respond in the way that I would want them to if it's not how it's gonna be, right? So, I don't know, I think the one thing that I do stand by is I stand on business when I say be genuine and be authentic every single moment of it because I don't regret the decisions that I've made. You know, like learn, pivot. So
I think it's not easy to get to a point where you can express yourself that way. So I think not everyone, I think a lot of people want to.
express themselves how?
In a way where even if it may cause issues or it might hurt someone else's feelings, there's still a part of you that's like, no, I have to say it, I have to get it out, and this is who I am, and this is how I handle the situation. And I think not everyone can do that. I think a lot of people, they're stuck behind. I think I definitely am. I don't really drop the hammer on people unless it's like really, really bad. So, from my perspective, I think, it's a place that a lot of people kind of aspire to get to be able to really authentically say something without worrying too much about consequences.
I think it's a lot of conditioning. Like especially maybe less as a man, but for women, especially immigrant children, we're taught that silence is safety. Silence is nice, right? You hold the peace. Like, why rock the boat? Smile, deal with it, move on, like, don't make a scene.
Mm-hmm.
But in that process, yes, we're respecting the other person, saving them face, but what are we doing to ourselves? By allowing somebody to disrespect our boundaries, and again, I choose the word allowing, I'm allowing myself to feel, oh, this is what I deserve, this is what I can expect. So if somebody gets offended because I say, hey, that's my boundary, please respect that, and they get upset, you have to wonder why. Because now they don't have free access to take advantage of you or to take from you. But then in retrospect, if you put yourselves in their shoes, would they allow you to keep taking from them? So why is it okay for them to take from me, but the moment I say, hey, enough is enough, now I'm an asshole, and I'm a bitch, and I'm rude and XYZ. I'm putting myself first. I'm not taking from somebody else to do that. I'm just protecting my own boundaries, right?
I think a lot of people allow their boundaries
Of
to be
course.
trampled on.
Because it's the road of less resistance.
Yes.
Right? It's easier just to,
Yes.
because everybody, we're conditioned to, you
Absolutely.
want to be known as a nice person. You want to be known as a nice girl, the nice guy. Like, you're a nice guy. But if I'm going to be considered and called a nice girl because I'm letting everybody walk all over me, do I deserve that? Right? And if that's what you, like, you can't, one thing, and this is going to be probably like a very inflammatory statement, but I've had people that come to work on their boundaries, to work on their willpower and whatever else, but then they don't want to because they're like, well, I don't want to be known as a bitch. I don't want to be known as an asshole. Okay, but why are we framing somebody who stands up for their rights? Like, if you're walking down the street and somebody starts just wailing and just verbally abusing you, and I step in, I defend you, I'm considered like a hero.
Mm-hmm.
But why can't I do that for my own self?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, oh, how dare you protect yourself, right? That's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also the thing of, you can't say I deserve better when you are not showing other people that you have boundaries and standards for your own self, right? So, sorry if I hurt your feelings at any given point, intentionally or unintentionally, but usually I have a good reason for defending myself. I'm not a crazy person where I just go out and start hurling slurs and insults at people,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't make insults for things that are out of their control, right?
How do you get to a point where you're able to express yourself so freely? Is there something that has to happen where you're just like, you know what, I don't give a fuck anymore?
Yeah, you
Is it-
snap.
Is it like
Yeah,
a point,
yeah,
or
yeah.
is it something that gradually happens over time? Is it like, boom, that's it, I don't give a fuck anymore?
I always toyed with the idea of one day I'm just gonna say, fuck you, and let me just test something, okay? I want you to look at me, and I want you to say no. Like, really, like, no.
Okay. Right now?
Hmm?
No.
I need you to say a little bit more forcefully.
No.
Okay. Now, every single person out there, do the same thing, just comfortably or uncomfortably. Say no, as forcefully, not a no, thank you. I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to hear the word no. The interesting part is there is a hitch that happens right in the heart, right before you say it, for people that haven't been able to express their boundaries, right? I was in a room full of women that I was coaching, and I was like, hey, can I borrow $100? They're like, sure. Do what? I was like, no. And I was like, just say no. And she's like, no, I can let you. I was like, why would you let me borrow $100? She let you, will you ask me? I said, do you want to let me borrow $100? She's like, well, I don't know. And I said, then say no. And it took 40 minutes for women to find their voice of saying no.
That's so interesting. A hitch in the heart, like a
It's
like a wall
almost
of
like
resistance
like
that you have to
pause.
punch through
Yes.
to be able to say
Yes.
it.
So men don't have that problem. No. Nah, man. Nah, I don't think so. Women, it's, hey, can I take you on a date? No, I'm so sorry, I have a boyfriend. Or, oh no, I'm busy. Hey, I think I like you. Can I go on a date with you? They're like, nah. Right? There's such a difference of how we were conditioned that women are difficult if we put up resistance. So walking down the street a couple months ago, and I had earphones in. For everybody that's seen me in New York City, I wear corded earphones for that reason, because I want people to visibly know that I am not engaging.
Is that why you wear the clothes?
I do. And a guy ripped the earphones out of my ear, stood in front of me, because I was talking to you. And I just stared at him for a good 5
That's
seconds.
fucking wild, man.
And I walked around. And he was like walking with me. He's like, you're hot. I was like, ew. And I just kept going. And he goes, I want to take you out for drinks. I said, no. a woman at the same crosswalk, at the light says, I mean, she could have at least said, like, no thank you, or like said she was busy. And that made me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
It made me so mad.
Yeah.
I was like, how
That makes me mad.
has the world changed that I owe you? And the guy asked me, he got a little emboldened. He was like, why, are you busy? And I said, no. So you got plans? I said, no. He was, you just don't want to go out with me? I said, correct. He's like, why? And I'm like,
Yeah, man, I
What?
apologize on behalf of men because that is fucking ridiculous.
but think about from middle school to high school to college till now, how many men feel like they're entitled to a reason as to why they're being declined or rejected,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's obviously socially unacceptable if like, nah, bro, it's because you're fucking ugly. That's unacceptable. But I can make excuses to protect the fragile ego of this man who audaciously asked me for my
Yo,
time.
he pulled your headphones.
He
out of your
he
ear.
grabbed my earphones and he ripped them out
That's
of my
crazy
ear.
work right there.
And this
You
man-
should have laid into him.
This man was 6'2". He was a chunkier Caucasian man. I am obviously a 5'2" Asian female.
Oh my god,
The
I would have
audacity.
loved if you just because you could have just ripped a new asshole, man. People
Yeah.
like that really need it. I
Yeah,
swear to God.
but the thing is, it's they expect to be let down gently. I didn't ask. I think we had this conversation briefly a few weeks ago, right? Like about us being at if I was at a gallery, if I was at an art museum and I was looking at art or something, and you came in, nice energy, clean, you weren't being sleazy, and you were like trying to strike a conversation with me.
Mhm.
You were taken aback at the response that I said, why are men assuming that women want to be spoken to when we're out and about?
I don't know if it's an assumption, more of an attempt to potentially get to know someone.
So Jeff has bad memory. Do we agree?
I have terrible.
Okay, so let
Can
me
you
refresh. Yes,
me?
the entire conversation went like
Oh,
this.
damn. All right.
And so I went to an art gallery, I was at an art museum, and I was looking at art, and this really snobby man started talking to me and grilling me about my art skills, and I am not artistic to save my life. And you were like, yo, that's really aggressive. What if a nice guy came up to you with no like bad intentions and was like, just said like, hey, what if you and I didn't know each other, and if I came up to you and was like, hey, would you still be like, aggressive and shut that down? I said, yes. And you literally looked at me and you were like, but why? I said, yes, but why are you moving with the assumption that I was open to engagement, right? Sure, shoot your shot.
I don't think it was an assumption. It's really just you're taking a gamble.
Right, but again, you made the assumption or the gamble that you were gonna get to know me.
Uh-huh.
And I responded by saying, no.
You're completely within your rights.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. Less secure, less gentlemanly male people don't have that mentality. But why? And then it's all like a pride issue. Man, fuck you, you're not that cute anyways. You acting like a bougie ass bitch and you ain't shit. Why is there a problem? You had no problem thinking I was attractive when you wanted to get my number, but the moment I say no and I don't give you a satisfactory reason, then all of a sudden, I'm a bitch, I'm ugly, I'm fucked up, right? So like, how is that a thing? Like, women are scared. You could be the nicest guy in the world, but some of your counterparts have already been traumatic with us, so we're not gonna leave ourselves to open vulnerability by giving you another chance as well. We'd rather shut it down and then, sorry, but you're guilty until proven innocent because of the track record.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
Guilty until proven innocent. I guess that's the crux right
Yeah, I
there.
mean, it kind of sucks, but women, all of our female, yin-yangs that are watching, they know exactly what I'm talking about because we're not conditioned to be dominant, right? Like, we're considered emotional or hysterical if we get mad or we cry or whatever. But, I mean, I understand there is toxic masculinity and there's male fragility and all that stuff. Like, I don't have a problem with men crying. I have a problem with people crying frequently while weaponizing it. So, I do have a distinction. right? I hate when girls cry to get something.
Mhm.
That, I hate that because
Fake shit, right?
yes, it diminishes from somebody actually crying because
Yeah.
something is actually wrong. It's
Yeah.
like somebody crying wolf for no reason, now you ruined it for the rest of us, right?
Yeah.
Don't weaponize incompetence. Don't weaponize your, vulnerability. Other than that, lean in, tap into your emotions, and be authentic. And if you can't say to yourself, man, that was a really shitty thing you did today, Michelle, you have no business telling anybody else anything. You gotta be honest with yourself. And you've experienced me enough to know that I am brutally honest with myself, probably worse than anybody else will ever be to me. So when I say I know what I am and I know who I am, inside and out, I think I'm pretty secure in that.
Yeah. As I've been getting to know you more and more, I can definitely say you are authentic.
You guys heard that? I am.
Yeah, you don't hold shit back,
I know.
which I appreciate because I think for me, I'm definitely not where you're at with in terms of like really being able to fully express myself authentically. So it's really good for me to just be around people like you as well, and then just see that like, oh, this person's doing it. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey getting to know you better.
So I remember the panel talk that I did last week, and even the moderator, who's a friend of mine, she was like, she sent me a message the other day. She was like, I keep remembering and hearing that one line in my head.
Say it again.
Don't be modest, be honest.
Yes, I remember you telling me
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
But people are like, wow, you're so cocky. No, you're confident. I worked hard to accomplish everything that I've had. And when I say, yes, I've done all these things, I'm sorry if you felt like that came off as a flex or I'm rubbing it in your face. But newsflash, it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and it happened. It's true. It's
Right,
fact.
it's factual.
Yeah.
So for all of you who are struggling to maintain modesty or humility, because that's what was ingrained and pounded into your head since we were children, don't be modest. Be honest.
I definitely have that issue a little bit. Yeah, being honest, not trying to like puff myself up. Yeah.
I think having a conversation about like who I am as a person, I've done a lot. I've accomplished a lot. I've failed a lot. But none of them are embarrassments or shameful things. I don't hide what I've done. I don't hide the journeys that I've been on. Yes, looking back, hindsight 2020, are there things that I wish I did differently? Sure. But I also know that had I done them differently, I wouldn't be who I am today. So when people say like, oh, the past is a past, it doesn't affect me, I'm like, that's not true. Because the past defines who you are today.
Who says
Which will
that?
eventually...
Who says that?
So many, okay.
Really? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so let's talk about relationships of people. I guess now I have a topic. Relationships
I
with
feel
them.
like we kind of had a topic with
Did
the
we?
whole no thing, like, because that. I feel like,
Ooh, you like that one? Okay.
yeah, I feel like it naturally happened, and,
No,
and it's
okay.
actually a very important topic.
I think it's hard, right? Like,
Because I have a problem saying no.
I know. I'm aware. I'm aware.
Yeah, you read like the book, huh?
Jeff's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too nice.
Yeah. Is there such a thing as too nice?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that there are some people who tend to, be more accommodating than others. But I think the difference is you're accommodating as long as and you're okay with it. I know people that are accommodating even if they hate what they're being accommodating with.
Right. I wouldn't say yes to something where it would cause me any sort of mental anguish after, for sure. Because I know myself, but I know my boundaries are pretty flexible too.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with most things. And if I say yes, I really don't have a problem with it. But if I feel like it is hitting one of my boundaries, I don't have a problem saying no. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather just say no than have to deal with any sort of friction in my mind afterwards.
That's fair.
I protect my mental space very
It's
carefully.
necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary. The easiest way, I think, to figure out and differentiate if it's something that you want to do or something that you have to do, which is like, you know, there's some things that you don't want to do, but like you have to do it anyways. Like suck it up,
Family
right?
stuff mostly.
Yeah. I think it's like a mental conditioning though, you know? Like, all right, if I've got to do something anyways, make the best of it. Like, I went to a really, really shitty party one time. It was like dead. It was in the middle of like a concrete, like, parking lot. It was like music. The DJ was just like getting warmed up, and everybody was just kind of being kind of standoffish. And I grabbed my friends and we just started dancing. We just did not care because, again, we were already stuck there. You know, what are we gonna do? Bitch and complain and moan about it? So just like enjoy what you're doing until it doesn't serve a purpose for you anymore. I think that's, again, the self-awareness part helps a lot with where your no comes into place.
Yeah.
But how are you gonna know where your boundaries are and what's worth it for you if you don't explore?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, don't do risky things to figure out your boundaries, but start saying no, right? And there's different ways of saying no without adding more context. Like, no. Like talking to your dog. No. You know, if they're like chewing on your $6,000 shoe, it's gonna come out a lot differently than saying no to ice cream for the third serving.
Yeah, I think life is a big game. Like, we can play around and experiment and do stupid shit and see what happens for the sake of learning. I think if people take life too seriously and they start to magnify each decision and overthink things, I don't know. To me, it's like, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make wrong decisions. It's okay to try shit out and hate it and get that feedback. But if we take things too seriously and we get too stuck on outcomes and what could potentially go wrong, I think it's just gonna cause ourselves unneeded stress.
I think the only caveat that I would put on that, like conditionally, is within your own bubble. You can't take liberties with somebody else's space.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Agreed.
Like, if you're experimenting with things and it hurts other people, that's not acceptable, right? Because they're exploring their boundaries and they're setting them for a reason.
That's a good caveat.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but again, and you can't help hurting other people, whether intentionally or unintentionally, as long as you recognize what you did. But you have to understand that sometimes, like, if I ran over your foot and I completely just like severed it, no amount of sorry is going to put your foot back, right? So just keep that in mind. Saying sorry is not like this like end all be all where now everything is all forgiven, right? The person that received the damage has to live with that.
Yeah.
Whereas you said sorry, so now you get to go home and sleep comfortably because you think you did the right thing. Just respect other people. And as you respect other people's boundaries, that's what helped me shape my own boundaries. Like, someone was like, hey, I really want you to come with me to this party. And I was like, no, I really hate the girl that's throwing it. Like, I refuse to go. She was like, please, I don't want to go by myself. I was like, well, then you shouldn't go, right? That was the probably first time that I openly said no. And it was something so trivial about a stupid party, but I felt miserable after that.
When was this? How long ago?
Gosh, 4 years ago? It's pretty
4 years
recent. Because at the end of the day, it's like, man, okay, is it really gonna make it a big deal if I do? I'll just suck it up and deal with it, right? I used to think of like, just like, it's fine, and I'd go. But I was like, why? Because you wanna go party? Now, I'm not sleeping well. I'm stressed out. I'm pissed. Every time that girl and I make eye contact, she's giving me dirty looks. Like, why do I have to suffer because you wanted to go to a party? And so it kind of goes both ways. Like, before, I had a boyfriend in college, I have a weird thing. I love scary movies, but I can't watch them. So I literally watch them like this, and I watch with my ears, which is terrible because I have really good hearing, and loud noises scare me. So it's kind of comedic in a weird way. But I loved horror movies, and he hated them. He refused to watch them with me.
Okay.
Compromise is, okay, I really hate, I don't know, sci-fi, whatever, okay? I really hate sci-fi, you really hate horror. If you force me to watch a sci-fi movie, you should watch a horror movie with me.
Yes.
That's a compromise, right?
100% agree, yes.
But it was a one-sided compromise, which is what? Sacrifice. It's no longer compromising if I'm the only one continuously giving in to the other person. And I said, hey, I actually don't want to watch sci-fi. Well, you watched it the last time. And then it became my own, like, chokehold because...
Yes.
And so I'm like, fuck, well, that's not fair. I watched it because you said you would watch the next movie in my choice, and now you're like, well, you already watched it, so what's the big deal?
Mm-hmm.
And that really stayed with me for a bit of like, wow, that, how do you deal with that, right? And it was like, okay. Every time I would just tell myself, nah, it's not a big deal. Okay, you know what, it's fine. It's not hurting me, it's not costing me money, it's not mentally affecting me. It's 2 hours where I'm just not happy.
So it is mentally affecting you then?
Yeah, but like in a grand scheme of things, I'm like, it's fine. Like, you watch shitty movies all the time, so I'm like, it's fine. But then...
But it's less about that.
Right, exactly. There's two sides of that coin of like, okay, yeah, it's not a big deal, you can watch it, but in the same respect, it's not a big deal, so you shouldn't force me to do it, right? I really want you to watch it with me. I really don't want to watch it. How is it that you get what you want every time, but you can't respect that I don't want to do it?
Right, that's the problem.
Yes. So, smallest things. Start with the small things, right? My parents mapped out my entire life for me for the longest time that I can remember. And I got to college and I realized I have no idea if I even like half the shit that I was doing. I played the cello, I played the piano, I did all the things that a good little Asian is supposed to do, and I did them quite well. So my mom was like, well, you're good at it. See? You're welcome. And I'm like, and that fucks with your head, because if I sucked at it, then, it'd be like, hi, I told you, but I'm good at it. So I'm like, well, fuck. Okay, well, maybe my mom knows best, maybe dad knows best, maybe so-and-so knows best. And so I started looking, and that's how the external validation started happening. I started chasing what other people thought I should do. And I started to rely on that, like, what do you think? What do you think? And finally, I was like, what the fuck do I think? And I had no answer. I don't know
When did you ask yourself that question for the first time?
It was the last day of my senior year in college. I was like, I know what I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I'm like a Jill of all trades. I'm good at a lot of things.
Yeah, you are. You pick up things quickly.
Yeah. But it's also like, am I doing it because I'm good at it and people like that I'm good at it? Or do I like it because I like it, right? And so the answer to that question is I got a one-way ticket to Korea. Told my parents 3 days before Christmas that I was going. Nobody believed me. They didn't even put their chopsticks down. They were like, yeah, okay. And 3 days later, my friend snuck me out of my house and drove me to the airport, and I went to Korea.
One-way ticket?
One-way ticket.
Oh,
I got a job.
Yeah.
So it was when like teaching English and like SAT and all that stuff was like pretty hot.
Okay.
But I actually taught TOEFL. I taught like graduate program for Seoul National University for kids that wanted to come over. And they offered me a very sweet deal. They offered me round trip airfare. It was like a 1-year contract and it could be extended.
Mm-hmm.
But they put me in a very, very expensive loft apartment. They paid for my utilities, they paid for my housing, and I got $3,000 a month on top of that. So it was pretty much like for a 22-year-old kid, I was making, that was a good life, right? And so $3,000 is pure profit for me because my housing is paid for, and I don't eat that much. So probably spent it the most on like coffee and more coffee, but it was great. And it's when I figured out I don't know who I am. And I would list, and when I asked myself, like, who am I? I had no idea. Well, I play the cello and I speak 4 languages and I did this. And they're like, okay, but no, like, what kind of person are you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So if I don't know who I am, how do I know how to say no or yes in different situations?
Very good point.
So I had to figure out who the fuck I wanted to be. But it's a good thing. If you're in that position where you're like, I'm having an existential crisis, what Michelle is saying makes sense, I don't know who the fuck I am, wonderful. Because no one is telling you who to be. Take all the experiences you've had in your life and start really considering, did I like that? Did I not like that? Start there. Not, am I good at it? Or am I good at it? Then you figure out, okay, do I like doing it? Do I like being good at it? Then you keep it. But if you're like, man, I didn't actually like that. I'm good at it, but I fucking hated it. Throw it out. You get to now choose who you want to be based on the experiences of what you've had to be. And that tells you when you can say no, when you can say yes, and not feel bad about it. And if somebody does make you feel that, send them my way. I've got a lot of choice words that I can say on your behalf. And later on, I'll pass the baton to you, and you can say them for yourself.
It's actually, I'm glad we're talking about this right now. Because this is, I mean, it really is an existential crisis kind of a thing. Like, actually putting in the time to explore who you are and what you are. Like, your experience of life. There's so many different ways our life manifests, and so many different hats we put on, and are these hats even serving us anymore? And then, like, behind the hats, like, what's behind the hats? What makes up our experience of the universe right now, right? And how deep does that go? And I think for my journey, for my existential crisis, I just kept asking, like, what's behind this? Who am I? As in, there was a teacher once, and he said, one way to help you understand who you are is that anything you think is not you.
Interesting.
And anything you experience is also not you.
Is he Yoda?
He was like one of those mystic guru kind of people, right? So then I'm like, okay, let me play with this.
Yeah.
So for the next like 6 months or so, I would just ask myself this question all the time. And then no matter what came into my field of experience, I would say, okay, this is something I'm experiencing, but it's not me. So what is it? Who am I? And I would look somewhere else. And it wouldn't be the sound coming in, it wouldn't be the emotion I'm feeling in my heart. It wouldn't be anger, it wouldn't be joy, it wouldn't be this thought or that thought. And I'm like, okay, so what's left? And I found out that you're not gonna find the answer. It's really just a process to help you undo a lot of things that you've been stuck in. So it's not something, that question is not meant to be answered. That question is meant to be enacted upon so that you can start walking the very long path to really understanding like who you are at your core. Because at our core, we're not experiences, and we're not feelings and thoughts and emotions. This is all things that I think are caked onto a more subtle and deeper layer of our existence. And it's a question that I still ask myself. And yeah, it's not even about answering the question. It's really about, if you do this process, you're able to let go of feelings. You're able to let go of thoughts. You're able to experience things and not get attached to them. And then you just keep looking. Like, okay, this happened. Okay, it's not me, so I'm not going to get hung up on it. But let me keep looking. Let me keep looking. And this process, I feel, is, I've been doing it for a long time. And it gets easier and easier. And it's really, it's not about answering the question, it's just about doing it. And then the more you do it, the more lighter you become. So that's been my journey for answering that question.
Different.
Very different perspectives, I think.
Different roads. I think it's interesting though, because when I work with men versus when I work with women, women have a hard time accessing emotions. Men have a hard time feeling emotions. So it's almost like men are taught to shut that off and be robotic, and women are taught to put it away.
Okay.
You can't act on them, right? If you get frustrated, what's the first thing we do? We bite our tongues and then we end up like tearing up, or some women cry because we're so angry, we're so frustrated, right? Or we just shut down, because it's easier to shut down and stop engaging than to blow up, right? And it's very different, I think, in the experiences of how we're raised in the dynamics of society, that it's not, women don't have a problem letting go. We have a problem being in the moment of it, right?
Being in the moment of it.
Like, letting go is a superpower we have.
Okay.
In a relationship, right? Whether you're married or you're in just a dating, whatever it is, you're like pissed off, and the guy's like, okay, fuck it, my bad, like, sorry.
Is it truly letting go though, or is it letting go
Because
on a surface level?
no, it is letting go, because you realize that it's not going to get you anywhere to dig down, right? So it's kind of like this. You really pissed me off earlier. I'm really upset with you. Oh, I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? Well, I'm sorry you're mad. Why am I mad? Oh my God, we're gonna fucking do this? All right, forget it. Because they're in that aspect. Women have learned to let go. Men have learned to not access that, not feel it, right? I'm mad. Okay, I'm sorry you're pissed off. I don't know, whatever I did. I'm sorry for all of it. But they don't know why we're upset, right? So then what do? You're like, oh, my fucking girlfriend nags at me all the time. All she does is just say, you piss me off. And like, because they don't understand. But women, when we get in girl talk, we're like, my guy's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know why he pissed me off. And we're like, how could he not know that, right? So it's different approaches, different aspects of what's being given and received.
Okay.
But emotions itself, I think, this is one of my stronger suits, I think, is communication. And sometimes I'm devoid of emotion almost, because emotion makes things that much stickier and trickier. So I've had partners tell me that I'm like mechanical and like robotic, and they're like, you're not really like feminine. I'm like, did you want me to start throwing, cups at you while I'm telling you this? Like, but it's like, so I do the who, what, when, where, why. And this is a thing that I employ in a lot of my coaching, but it's who was upset, why, where did it happen, when did it happen, what happened. Keep it strictly to facts. Okay. Not, you did this 2 weeks ago and you were, no, it's just, you said this, that's why it made me upset. You said it in this setting. Like, there's sometimes that like, you can get away with some things that you say for home by yourselves, but if you say it in front of my friends in a tone, then I'm telling you, like, that's why it upset me. But guys are like, I said the same shit to you at home the other day, you didn't get mad. But it's, look around where we're at while we're doing this, right? So that becomes a problem. And so teaching nuances. I have 2 brothers, and being the stereotypical stoic Asian father, my dad was very quiet. Both my brothers barely talk. They're very quiet people. But my brothers are annoying. They're the exact type of toxic Asian masculinity that I have spent a lot of time trying to fix. Because they'll hold it in, but where does that go? It's got to find an outlet at some point. So then all of a sudden, 3 weeks of shit just starts spewing out when I'm like, I just asked if you wanted ice cream. They're like, you always fucking do this. And I'm like, well, had you told me when it happened, I would have remembered. Or I would have like applied that. And they're like, well, I didn't want to make a big deal. I'm like, this is not a big deal. This is now a big fucking deal when it didn't have to be, right? But working with a lot of Asian men in that way, I understand it. I saw it being employed in that way with my 2 brothers and my parents. And so I think starting with the who, what, when, where, why of like, and if you don't know, don't be an ass. Don't be like, well, I don't know. All right, I'm sorry you're mad, right? I don't know why you're mad. Can you tell me? And women are more than happy to tell you exactly how you fucked up and made us feel the way that we did, right?
Yeah.
But men should always have exercised the right to say no and or yes, just as much as women. But it's easier for them to say no because it's dominance, right? Women don't have that luxury. Well, let me rephrase it. We didn't have that luxury. So that's why when I say no and I'm standing my ground, a lot of guys are like, why the fuck are you such a bitch? Like, why are you so aggressive? Like, why is it being aggressive? Like Taylor Swift said, if I was a man, I'd be getting high fives in the fucking boardroom. But because I'm a woman, she doesn't know her place. Why is she acting out? Why is she being so aggressive?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also, again, 5'2". If I'm nice and sweet and soft-spoken, who's gonna hear me? So we are products of how we're raised and what we are. But no is such a powerful tool. And it's also indicative of like what you want, right?
It makes your yeses more impactful
Yes.
as well. Saying yes to everything just kind of dilutes that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Being able to say no to things then makes your yeses just like, that much more powerful.
I was thinking about this one conversation that I had, and I'm very blunt. I don't know if you noticed, but somebody kept saying, "Oh, Michelle, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to." And in unison, the entire group goes, "Michelle never does anything that she doesn't want to do." It was just a collective. I was like, "Did somebody send out an email or something?" And they're like, if Michelle says she's going to do it, it's because she actually wants to.
Uh-huh.
You cannot pressure that bitch to do anything that she does not want to do.
Uh-huh.
Which is a stark difference in the way that I was raised. I did not know how to say no because my parents taught me to be very conservative, very docile, submissive Asian. They literally tried to beat the aggression out of me. And then when I started saying no, it was like a game. I was like, no, this is fun. No. And then I figured out, okay, I can say yes here, I can say yes there. And I started to find my balance, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to kind of overcorrect
For sure.
to start finding that
For sure.
sweet spot.
I mean, the pendulum is always swinging, right?
Yeah.
It's natural to not know when to pull it back.
Yeah.
And it will naturally correct too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it'll hit like that far end of momentum, and you'll be like, wait, this doesn't feel right. Let me pull it back.
I mean, this is all to say, for those of you that have emailed and like commented on our episodes and stuff, I mean it. I did respond personally to all the ones that we got. And I will not say no to you guys emailing. Or, I mean, unless you ask me to do something absolutely just ludicrous. But, it is a blanket invitation to reach out to us and to have different things. My Instagram has blown up. I'm now at over 2,300 followers.
Wow.
I just started a new Instagram from my main page.
Shout it out.
And I started April 9th, and it's all just challenges and provocations of Western medicine versus the idea of how we're raised. And so it's called Confession of a Chinese Medicine Doctor. And I did have somebody ask me in a private DM, how is this Chinese medicine? And I was thinking about this conversation that we're having. And this is the Chi Talks, right? So I just want to make it very clear that being self-aware, being able to have the autonomy and the power to say no is directly related to Chinese medicine. That is a part of your Shen, that is a part of your spirit, right?
Yes.
So we might not be talking about acupuncture and needles and Qi and things, but figuring out who you are is the essence and the true heart of what Chinese medicine is. It's reconnecting all those parts of you that we had to hide or highlight to get somewhere, that now we're just putting them all back together. And I'm gonna say my signature, but we're reconnecting the disconnect, right? And all of this is, if you don't know who you are, there is a part of your Shen that has either been hurt, or it has been neglected, or it has been suppressed. And being able to first say no without giving all these reasons as to why you're saying no is the very first step. And when you get there, I will be the first to congratulate you and tell you that I'm so fucking proud of you for doing that, because it's not easy. It's always easy to be like, yeah, sure, okay, I can do it. Okay, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't, because you have to come first, right? So protect your Shen, protect yourself, and stand up for yourself, right?
Shen is the most important thing in our physiology,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
The medicine classics make that very clear. They say one of the end goals of the Chinese medicine practitioner is to reach Shen Ming, which means the Shen is bright. The Shen cannot be bright if you're weighed down with mental baggage. So sifting through what's in our head, understanding ourselves, being able to make decisions clearly, this is Chinese medicine, like this is the essence of Chinese medicine. Everything that comes after it, like physiology, how our system's functioning, if the Shen is messed up, nothing is working properly. All right, so I think we have to make that very clear. So if I have patients that come in and they're having, do we need to explain what Shen is? I feel like we might be throwing around the term.
Oh, that's true. Sorry about that, guys. I talk a lot about Shen in my other content, and Shen pretty much means spirit. Now, I have a little bit of a different approach to it than very traditional Chinese medicine practitioners. I think in the grand scheme of things, in the long or short, however you want to stand on this coin, 14 years of experience with the generations of whatever that I've seen and documented, Shen can be discussed and or have different meanings for different people. We say it translates loosely into spirit, but that could be your inner child, it could be your inner voice, it could be your spirit, your soul. There's different things. I don't think that one is right versus another. I think that your inner child, angry teenager, and your higher being are all parts of what we call to be collectively Shen. And so for me, it's my soul. It's my spirit, right? It's the higher being in my head that's like, okay, my physical being, my physical mind, like, let's go fight right now. My Shen is the one that's a little bit on a higher plane that tells me, is it worth it? If it is, make no regrets and handle your business, right? But it's that small voice inside you. Some people call it intuition. Some people say other things like the angel on your shoulder, the devil on your other shoulder. But I think depending on who you talk to, Shen can be explained in different ways. But for me, collectively, it's like your soul, your spirit, or whatever it is. Do you want to jump in?
My take on it? Yeah, I understand Shen. So I understand Shen in the context of Jing, Qi, and Shen, the three treasures of Chinese medicine. And to me, these are just three frequencies of energy that our being exists on. So our most physical, most low vibrational frequency would be essence, the most material part of ourselves. And then we go higher up in vibration, more energetic, we call that Qi. And then for me, Shen is the last layer, which is our link to this thing that pervades the whole universe. And the best I can, in my experience, understand it as is our link to emptiness. That which all of these manifestations are taking place upon. It's like the canvas that the paint is being drawn on. So for me to get in touch with my Shen, it's really about, I think it goes back to that example I was giving before. Like, what is not your emotions and not your experience and not any of this? What is left? And for me, that's emptiness. And that's what I think of when I think of Shen. So
I want to jump in a little bit. So emptiness might be misunderstood by people who don't have a Chinese medicine theoretical background. It's not empty. It's not this like void of things, but it's we can go into it a little bit more detail, but I prefer to use a different word than emptiness, because emptiness has almost like a lonely type of connotation, but it's being so, like being a neutron. You're not a positive, you're not a negative, you are just stable, right? So if you think about it, you can either be so full that there's nothing else, or you can be so empty that there's nothing else, but it's just finding that stability. If you do have questions about anything that we say, and I've realized I failed to do this in previous conversations we've had, but you're more than welcome to email us. It's literally just thechitalks@gmail.com. Our Instagram is at thechitalks. And on there you can find Jeff and my respective Instagrams as well if you have direct questions specific to one of us. But all of this is to open a conversation. That's what the Chi Talks is. We're not here to say we're holier than thou, let me teach you the ways of life, but it's to open that conversation of what's out there. Where are areas that we can provide a little bit of assistance or a little bit more meat to some of the content that's out there? And being classically trained in Chinese medicine, we can give buffers onto what's leaning more towards trendy but not true, and what is difficult to digest but very necessary. So again, for those of you, yin yangs who have reached out to us, thank you so much for doing that. It's very nice to hear from you. And for those of you that were hesitating, don't. Just shoot us the email. It's better to ask people who probably have really good answers, and if we don't, we'll search for them together, right? So this is to open a conversation, to open the things of, where do I go? What if I want more? You start here, start with us, right? So again, as much as we talked about the power of saying no, I'm not gonna send you an email back and respond, no, okay? I won't do that. Maybe if I meet you guys in person for coffee or something, I'll joke. But it is a difficult journey to figure out who you are and what you are, and then find out how to blend the two into finding, just your overall self. But if we can help in any way, we have obviously very different perspectives and experiences and journeys that have gotten us here. But at the very base of it, our mutual goal is to create a safer place for you to authentically be seen and heard, right? So we're really glad that you guys are here. I'm really glad that you're here. And yeah, you're loved.
That was good. Thank you for adding that in.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's the Chi Talks. Keep detoxing and let your body do